The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Good morning, citizens, and welcome to the Panopticon. It is Thursday, March 26th, 2026, and I'm Julian Archer, currently running on 3 shots of espresso and a lungful of high-altitude oxygen, because let me tell you, the soul of this country isn't going to save itself.
And I'm Maya Thorne, currently on hour 4 of my morning scroll, and honestly, the timeline is a charcoal grill today. It's just pure, unadulterated heat and not the good kind.
It's a busy one, folks. A solid show today. A packed episode because the machinery of the world is grinding gears in ways that would make a Victorian clockmaker weep. Yesterday, we were tracking the literal escalation of Operation Epic Fury. Those 4,000 paratroopers from the 82nd heading to the Middle East. And today, we're seeing the domestic fallout of that same martial hunger.
Yeah, yesterday was high-key terrifying with the DHS shutdown hitting day 40. Like, seeing TSA agents selling plasma while ICE gets deployed to airports it's peak dystopia era, Julian.
It's institutional vandalism, Maya. It's the demolition of the civil service in real time. But look, we've got some fascinating developments to unpack today. From a bipartisan strike against the defense lobby to a literal tobacco moment for big tech. We're going deep on the 2026 midterms, specifically the Civil War in Maine. But first, look, I gotta say, my thing is accountability. And we actually saw some yesterday.
Did we? Because it's giving very little accountability usually.
Oh, spare me the cynicism for 5 minutes. Look at the Senate. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Josh Hawley, the ultimate political odd couple, have officially introduced the Defense Contractor Accountability and Readiness Act, or DCARA. And I'm telling you, it is absurd that it took this long.
Wait, Hawley and Warren? That's like a super weird crossover episode. It's like when 2 different cinematic universes collide for no reason.
It's the horseshoe theory in action, Maya. They're coming for the big 5 defense firms. The bill would literally ban defense contractors from using federal funds for stock buybacks or executive bonuses if they're not meeting military readiness targets. What? It's serious.
No. It's just, imagine telling a CEO they can't buy a 3rd yacht because their munitions are hollowed out. That's going to hit them where it hurts, in their portfolio.
According to the Post, these firms spent over $30 billion in buybacks and dividends alone in 2025, while the Pentagon is reporting a 15% shortfall in naval and air assets. Warren's out here calling it corporate looting and the financialization of war. And for once, Hawley isn't just posturing. He's screaming about industrial hollowing.
Okay, but are they actually going to pass it? Or is this just for the clips? Because if we're spending $2 billion a day on this conflict in Iran, the contractors are basically the only ones winning.
That's the point. They're building a populist bloc. It's readiness over returns. If you're taking taxpayer billions to build missiles and you can't deliver the missiles because you're too busy inflating your share price, you should be in handcuffs, not in a corner office. I've got names in my black book who have been lobbying for this kind of vampire capitalism for decades. And watching Warren and Hawley team up to drive a stake through it, it's the best theater in D.C.
It's definitely a vibe shift. But while the Senate is playing good cop, angry cop, the UN just dropped a massive ratio on the United States.
Oh, the General Assembly vote? It was shameful, Maya. Absolutely shameful.
No, literally. Yesterday, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution declaring the transatlantic slave trade the gravest crime against humanity in history. And the vote count was 123 in favor to, well, 3 against.
Let me guess the 3.
It's the usual suspects club, the United States, Israel, and Argentina.
Look, the African group, led by Ghanaian President Mahama, has been pushing for reparatory justice for years. We're talking formal apologies, debt relief, the restitution of cultural artifacts, and the U.S. Deputy Ambassador, Dan Negria, actually had the gall to argue that we don't recognize a legal right to reparations for things that were not illegal at the time they occurred.
That is so Maine character syndrome. Like, we didn't make a law against it, so it's fine.
It's legalistic cowardice. The Guardian is reporting that the UK and the rest of the EU abstained because they're terrified of the word reparations. They're worried it creates a hierarchy of atrocities. But come on, we're talking about the systematic kidnapping and enslavement of millions of people that built the very infrastructure of the Western world. To vote no alongside only 2 other countries, it makes us look like a pariah state.
It's because the administration is in its retribution era, Julian. They don't want to talk about historical crimes when they're busy committing new ones. Look at what's happening with the Letitia James.
Oh, don't even get me started on Bill Pulte and the FHFA.
For real though, Bill Pulte, the Trump housing official, just filed 2 new criminal referrals against New York AG Letitia James in Miami and Chicago, claiming she committed homeowners insurance fraud by falsifying residency details in Virginia and Illinois.
It's the 4th attempt. 4. The first 3 were tossed because the appointments were illegal, and now they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. It's a vendetta, plain and simple. Letitia James took his boss to the cleaners in the civil fraud case, and now they're using the DOJ as a private law firm for the Trump family.
And while they're doing that, women in this country are literally losing ground.
You mean equal pay day?
Yeah, today is Equal Pay Day 2026, and the news is mid. Actually, it's worse than mid. For the 2nd year in a row, the gender gap has actually widened.
That is absurd. We've had decades of progress.
Not anymore. According to the latest census data, women are now making 80.9 cents on the dollar. Last year, it was 82.7.
So we're going backwards?
We are in a 2-speed recovery, Julian. The sectors dominated by men, tech, finance, and construction, saw wage jumps of nearly 4%. But the care economy, education, retail, nursing, which is where the majority of women work, total stagnation.
I mean, let me tell you, I wrote my ex-wife Senator Vance's speech on this back in the 90s, and the numbers were better then. A woman starting her career today is projected to lose over $500,000 over her lifetime. If she's a woman of color, over $1 million. This isn't just a stat, it's a generational theft.
Low-key, it's because the government is obsessed with funding Project 2026 and the war in Iran instead of, I don't know, childcare?
Speaking of the war, did you see the Iranian response to the ceasefire plan?
Yeah, they basically said ratio.
They rejected the 15-point plan, called it disconnected from reality. They're demanding war reparations and total sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. And in response, the Pentagon is sending more paratroopers. We are sliding into a 100-day war that's burning $2 billion a day, Maya. $2 billion.
And House Republicans want to fund it through budget reconciliation.
Which means they can bypass any Democratic oversight. They'll gut the social safety net to pay for the munitions. It's a shell game with human lives.
Speaking of safety nets, look, independent media like this doesn't just manifest out of the ether. It takes real human work to build the infrastructure. We are 100% here because of the vision and the grind of our creator, Eric Christensen, at Neural Network Media. He's not a media conglomerate. He's a builder who poured his own resources and time into creating this platform so we could have these conversations. If you value independent voices over corporate algorithms, please like, subscribe, and consider visiting our new Patreon at patreon.com/neuralnetworkmedia to support this work. It's an act of solidarity that keeps the lights on and the servers running.
Solidarity is exactly the word, Maya, because while the feds are trying to gut the safety net, we're seeing some incredible pushback at the local level. Have you seen the RX Kids expansion in Michigan?
Oh, I saw a TikTok on this. Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha is basically a legend.
She's a hero. Starting April 1st, they're expanding this cash aid program to 3 new communities. Pregnant mothers get $1,500 mid-pregnancy and then $500 for the first 6 months of the baby's life. No strings attached.
Because it turns out if you give mothers money, they use it on, wait for it, diapers and formula.
Who would have thought? The data from the Flint pilot showed 74% of the money went directly to essentials. It reduced maternal stress, improved health outcomes. It's a miracle of common sense policy. And in Indianapolis, the Birth Fund is doing something similar. $20,000 over 3 years for mothers in high mortality zip codes.
But of course, the Trump administration has to main character the whole thing with this anti-fraud task force.
The DOJ's new fraud enforcement division. It's a Trojan horse, Maya. They're using fraud as an excuse to withhold billions from blue states. They want to audit every cent of social spending while ignoring the $30 billion in defense buybacks we just talked about.
It's the selective accountability era.
Exactly. They'll go after a mother in Detroit for a paperwork error, but they'll let an OBGYN in Washington state abuse 84 patients for years before even suspending his license.
Wait, is that the Mulholland story? I saw that report from ProPublica.
It's horrific. This doctor, Mark Mulholland, had decades of sexual misconduct allegations, and the Washington Medical Commission just let him keep practicing. They offered him an informal settlement while he was still seeing patients. It took 84 lawsuits to finally get someone to pay attention.
This is why Senator Akilah Weber Pearson is pushing Senate Bill 849 in California. We need to permanently bar physicians who commit sexual misconduct. No second chances for predators in lab coats.
Look, it's all connected. The lack of accountability in healthcare, the widening wage gap, the corporate looting of the defense budget, it's all part of the same me-first architecture. But then you look at the tech world, and honestly, I think we might have just seen the first crack in the dam.
You mean the Los Angeles jury verdict?
$6 million against Meta and Google.
It's huge. A 20-year-old plaintiff, Kaylee GM, sued them for social media addiction. The jury found them negligent in their design.
That's the key, Maya. They bypassed Section 230. They didn't sue over the content. They sued over the infinite scroll and the beauty filters. They argued these are product defects designed to trigger dopamine hits and cause mental health crises.
70% liability for Meta, 30% for Google. It's the tobacco
Moment, Maya. Once you prove in court that the product is intentionally addictive and harmful to children, the floodgates open. I've been saying for years that Mark Zuckerberg is just Philip Morris in a hoodie, and a jury finally agreed.
High key, I hope it leads to a total rework of the algorithms. My screen time is 14 hours, and I feel like my brain is literally a fried egg.
We need to get you out into the winter that wasn't. Although, honestly, maybe you're safer inside.
Right? Because the West is literally on fire in March.
It's a historic snow drought. The Sierra Nevada and the Rockies are at less than 50% of their normal snowpack. Reservoirs in Arizona are at 9%.
Arizona hit 110 degrees on March 19th. That's a national record.
And 1.45 million acres have already burned. The National Interagency Fire Center is saying this could be the worst wildfire season in history. And what is the administration doing? They're introducing a pay-to-not-play strategy to kill offshore wind.
They're literally speed running the climate collapse. It's like they want to see the game over screen.
It's for the donors, Maya. It's for the oil lobby that wants $120 a barrel prices to be the new normal. But look, there is a silver lining, or at least a battlefront where we can actually win. Let's talk about Maine.
Oh, you mean the last GOP holdout era?
Susan Collins is officially the most vulnerable senator in the country. She's the only Republican holding a seat in a state that Kamala Harris won by 7 points. But the Democratic primary is, well, it's a civil war.
It's Janet Mills versus Graham Plattner.
That's exactly it. You've got Janet Mills, the 78-year-old establishment governor. She's solid. She's won statewide before. She's the safe bet. But then you've got Graham Plattner,
the oyster farmer.
a 41-year-old Marine veteran and oyster farmer who is absolutely torching her in the polls. A University of New Hampshire poll just showed Plattner leading Mills by 38 points.
38 points? That's not a lead. That's a ratio of epic proportions.
It's because the base is tired of safe, Maya. Mills still supports the Senate filibuster. Progressives are looking at her and saying, if you won't kill the filibuster to save reproductive rights, why are we sending you to D.C.?
And Plattner is out here running as a progressive firebrand. He's got that grassroots energy that Mills just can't replicate. He's beating Susan Collins in 11 points in the same poll, while Mills is only up by 2.
But the establishment is terrified. They think Plattner is too radical for the general election. They're going to dump millions into Mills to try to stop him. It's the classic Democratic playbook. We'd rather lose with a centrist than win with a populist.
It's giving 2016 vibes.
Not if the voters in Maine have anything to say about it, and watch Virginia too. They've got a special referendum on April 21st for a mid-decade redistricting. If that passes, Democrats could draw a 10-1 map and basically take back the House single-handedly.
It's a blue map counteroffensive. I'm here for it.
We have to be, because the alternative is just, well, look at New Jersey.
Oh, the ICE thing.
Governor Miki Sherrill, she just signed a law requiring federal ICE agents to show their faces and wear visible ID before making arrests. No more masked roving militias in the Garden State.
And Chicago named a snowplow Abolish ICE.
That's the spirit. Mayor Brandon Johnson is actually investigating federal agents for criminal misconduct during raids. This is the blue state resistance in its final form.
It's a lot, Julian. It's all a lot.
It is, but that's why we're here. To cut through the noise, to name the villains, and to show you that there is a path forward, even when the world feels like it's in its collapse era.
Okay, final thoughts.
Look, from the UN to the Michigan nurseries, from the Senate floor to the oyster farms of Maine, the battle lines are being drawn. The happy warriors of the donor class are trying to sell us a future of forever war and 80-cent wages. But the people, the actual people, are starting to wake up. And I'm telling you, it's gonna be one hell of a year. Bet.
Stay safe out there, everyone.
And stay angry. We'll see you tomorrow. And Maya? Turn off your phone for 10 minutes, will you?
No promises.